Good morning. I'm outside and it's raining right now. And I'd rather not be getting wet, but sometimes we have to do things that are hard because we know it'll be good for us, right? And you might be able to say, like, oh, Father, you really don't have to be out walking in the rain. Sure, I don't, but I know it's going to be good for me. And sometimes doing things that are difficult and hard can be really good for us. And sometimes we've just got to bite the bullet and do it. And guess what? That's exactly what today's Morning Minute is all about. And I will tell you that I typically don't sleep very well at night. And 99.9% of the time when people say, hey, Father, how are you doing? My answer is, I'm tired. Like, I am tired all the time. And so I really started thinking through it, and I'm like, you know what? I need to put some better boundaries in place for myself to make myself healthy regarding what I do at night. Like, basically having a bedtime. Yes, as a 40-year-old, I'm imposing a bedtime on myself, right? And so what I've been doing is, like, what I came up with that's going to help me to be healthy is that at 9 o'clock, I put my phone down, right? Phone's down at 9 o'clock, so no looking up sports articles, no watching sports games, right? No texting, no different thing. Like, phone goes down, right? If somebody needs me, they can call on the house line, whatever. Like, I can get back to people tomorrow, right? This is an important sacrifice for me to be healthy. Phone goes down at 9. From 9 to 9:30, I'll read to kind of try to, like, calm and quiet my mind. And then sometime between, 9:30 or so, I pray night prayer, the last of my prayers from Liturgy of the Hours of the day. And then between 9:30 and 10, it's lights out. And I did that for a few days, and it was really good. And I could notice the difference that it made. But then, all of a sudden, I came up to it was like 9 o'clock, and I was like, you know, I really feel like staying up a little later. And I thought to myself, like, well, this rule is kind of arbitrary. Does it really make that big of a difference, right? Thinking that in the moment, if I push past that, if I'm like, you know what, I'll read sports articles till 10. Then I can just go to bed at 10. Like, not making that big of a difference. Because it doesn't feel like it's making that big of a difference right in the moment. But it does down the road, right? And I realized the next morning when I woke up, I was like, I'm kind of tired. Well, got to try to do better with that arbitrary rule, right? I think ultimately, like, no, like, you do that a few nights in a row and you realize, like, no, what was the reason why I put that rule in there in the first place? Because I know it's going to help me, even though in the moment I don't sense it. And I think sometimes it can be this way with faith. It can be this way with religion for people, where it's like, yeah, God has these rules, but, like, I don't really sense that it happened, that something bad is happening. It's like the serpent telling Adam and Eve in the garden, God told you not to eat of that fruit, right? God said, surely you will die if you eat that fruit. That's not going to happen. They ate the fruit. Did they die on the spot? Whew. They didn't. So is God lying? No. He's not talking about physical death. Spiritually, they were separated from him in that moment. They basically said, God, I'm turning my back on you. And they forced God out of their hearts. Thankfully, God has a way to get that back for us and sending Jesus to die on the cross for our sins. We get that life at baptism, and we get it back in confession, right? Thankfully, we have that. We have a way to turn it around. But I think a lot of times we can because we don't really, like, sense it or feel it in the moment, a lot of times we very easily can treat those rules from God, different ones, whatever they are. For each of us, it's going to be a different one that we find hard. I think a lot of times we can treat those like a self-imposed bedtime, where it's something like, yeah, you know, I see the need for it, and I understand it, but when in the moment my heart is being fed, even though it's actually not, when it seems like your heart's being fed and your needs are being met by going against it, it can feel like it's not that big of a deal. All right, hopefully that makes sense. But what's the reason the rule exists in the first place? It's actually to make us healthy, right? That's why it exists. The reason why I gave myself these boundaries is that it's going to help me ultimately to be healthy, right? But we can rebel against it, like, oh no, this isn't a good thing. It's holding back on my freedom. Like, No, it actually is making us healthy, right? So I need to say this is an important thing, and I'm not going to push back against it simply because it seems better than I need to take a step back and say, what is helping me to be my best self, to be the best version of myself? What is helping me to be healthy, physically, mentally, spiritually, following all the laws of the Lord? Those are going to help you to do those things. So I encourage you today to ask yourself, to ask God in prayer, what is the number one thing that I'm struggling with to follow within God's rules and within God's laws? What's the number one thing? And to ask the Lord to help you to put certain constraints on yourself or certain boundaries or rules for yourself in your life that will help you to follow that thing. And I'm going to take it one step further because I love you and I care about you and I want you to thrive. On top of it, to say, okay, what is one thing, or I said spiritually, what is one thing that I can do to help myself to be more healthy physically? And then the third one, what is something that I can do to make myself more healthy mentally? Mentally, physically, spiritually. Ask the Lord to lead you and guide you through it, and then put some boundaries in place for yourself. Some guiding things that aren't taking away your freedom, but they're actually there to help you. To realize that God's laws are because of his love, and they actually help us. Let God help you today, spiritually, physically, mentally. Have an amazing day, and God bless you.